Hello everyone, I am Tacit, and today I'm going to be going over a dozen teams for the Gems of War Salt and Claw event week, aka the Gems of War 8-year anniversary week. And this will basically be covering all of the various modes that we have going on throughout the week, of which there are a lot of them. However, many of the modes don't really need much to be able to be done, as they just use pretty standard farming teams. I will not specifically be going over anything Guild War related in this team's video, but it will be covering essentially everything else that isn't Guild Wars. Starting with, of course, Purple Tower of Doom. So with Purple Tower of Doom, you are restricted specifically to purple, except your weapon can be any color. Oddly enough, you can use very similar teams to what was used last week. Last week, of course, we had access to, or we had to use pure purple for the Halloween event for those 2 weeks. So whatever team you used for that, you could pretty much just use again. You could also technically just use your purple Guild War team. In this case, I am showing 2 different teams here. This one is a Mang focus one. That ends up using Throughout as our primary mana accumulation. Mang, of course, gaining armor or gaining attack based on how much armor you tear from the enemy. So you'll always be able to scale throughout the entire Tower of Doom. Generally uses on the Doom itself, as it has higher stats, so you Mang down the Doom and then kill out everything else as you normally would, Throughout for mana accumulation. Wild Queen is mostly here to reduce down their attack while also getting some more skull pressure. And of course, Zolgoth does what Zolgoth normally does, which is kill an enemy, burn them all, freeze them all, and create a billion skulls. Keep in mind, you cannot insta-kill the Doom itself. However, after armor tearing it, so simply hitting it with a few skulls will be enough to go and kill it out. As far as a more AoE-centric team, you can end up using a Thrall Leprechaun base and then just put 2 AoE options onto it. What you choose is basically up to you as far as what you have. You can even double up on Queen Titania if you really want to. In this case, we go Archmagus with a Dawnbringer into Queen Titania. You can go Black Manacles into Queen Titania. You can go like a tank hero class if you find you're dying too much, like Titan or something similar. It's pretty adjustable depending on what you're trying to do and what you have. So it's basically just double AoE cast, mana accumulators around it, and just keep doing that until you win. Probably more advised for the lower level range and not the super high range. Next, we have ourselves the faction event for tomorrow, for Tuesday. This faction event will be for the Blackheart. It is a blue-purple restriction, though once again you are allowed to use any colored hero weapon. In this case, we have a pretty standard Rowan build, where you just Urski a shield on the Rowan armor boost ratios, and everything else just mana accumulates until you just get the insta-kill, winning in 1 or 2 casts of the Rowan. As far as our deeper one, you can pretty much just run the meta Hiking Iron Gut Zolgoth. However, there's a new Hiking Iron Gut in town. We'll be getting that into a little bit. I haven't covered a video on it. Maybe we will if you guys are interested in it, covering all the broken Spire reworks. Honestly, not too much ended up happening. However, we are covering a team this video on the most relevant one of all the changes that happened with the broken Spire rework, as we did finally get that today. However, not too many relevant ones, but still some changes. Anyways, as far as pure faction for Blackheart, you basically just spam Bile Blackheart. You can literally just win with 1 of these. You can put 4 of them on your team. You can put 1 of them into 3 Death Blades. Really just depends what ratio you want. But basically, he is your entire team. He ends up exploding pretty much the entire board, gains a bunch of attack, life, and armor, boosted by all previously killed enemies, which even without that boost ratio, that is already insane. With that boost ratio, it is even more insane on top of that. So if you have 2 kills on a given fight, he's gaining 20 more to all 3 of those stats, all 3 of which are very, very beneficial. He also has some score reduction and is essentially your entire team. Anything else that you're building around him is essentially just to win quicker or to make sure you have a backup copy for the final fight. You can run with 4 of him. You can run double-double. You can run 1 of him with like 3 Death Blades. Really just depends how you feel like running it. If you find you're dying more, just add more Bile Blackhearts and you'll win. So just do that. Everything else is just to make sure you win quicker, essentially. This Thursday, we're going to be having a Corsair class event. This is a rogue restriction, specifically Black Hulk-related rogues. A couple of different ways you could do this, but one of the easier ways is to feed a lot of blue. Corsair, of course, gaining a lot of blue on its own as well, and you can just feed that into any blue weapon, in this case Dawnbringer, but you could use any other blue weapon as you choose that you happen to have laying around that can hit all enemies. Next, we have ourselves Rogue Invasions. This will be taking place on Friday. I figured I'd use the new pistol for once, but this team is basically just get red Charlotte running. You could do this in any way you wish to do so. You could use like double over up front and just have like an empower with 1 other option or something similar. In this case, I figured we use the new pistol that came in this week. First time it's been available for free. Also the second to last of those money locked weapons that have finally been added to the game. The last one coming in a couple weeks from now during the next Bright Forest event. But anyways, it basically just gives you a little bit of gold when Bonnie Rose is on your team, and you need this for red Charlotte. She's the tower killer. However, she has a pretty interesting ability in that she gains 2 mana back boosted by gold. When you have enough gold, which in this case would end up being 36, So if you have 36 or more gold, which of course this pistol does in one single cast, that's great. So if you have 36 or more gold, you will gain 100% of her mana back because she has 12. That comes out to the full amount of mana. And every single time you cast, she gets her mana back. So you cast her, you cast her, you cast her again, and it will cost your turn every single time. However, you have infinite mana. So you just keep clicking it over and over again until you kill out the entire enemy team. And as simple as that. Everything else around her is just basically to make it work. And you can do that in any way you wish for the weekend invasion event. Next, we have teams I'm actually going to be going over. So this very first one here is part of the Broken Spire rework. So there were plenty of Broken Spire reworks that just happened. I guess we could just kind of briefly go over. I might cover a video on it, might not, not really sure yet, as most of them aren't really like too important. But the most important one out of all of them was definitely Amarak. Amarak is basically alternative Iron Gut now. So before this had like a 2% devour rate and per its ratio, and only had a 1 times ratio on its damage. Now it has 2 times ratio on how much magic damage it ends up getting based on its magic for its damage. However, that's not the relevant part. The relevant part is its 2% ratio for how much devour chance it has based on how many red gems and burning enemies has been moved all the way to 10%. This, in many situations, unless your board just got denied of red, is essentially a 100% devour rate. One thing that's interesting about this, while it doesn't have auto extra turn, it does have, it creates 9 red, but only when you get a kill. However, if you're getting a kill almost 100% of the time, well, plus the fact that it boost ratio is off of red and it's creating the red it needs to boost ratio off of anyways, while also feeding mana back into itself, there might be some rare circumstances where this performs better than Iron Gut. Would you ever really use this over Iron Gut? Probably not too often, just because Iron Gut's higher consistency. However, if nothing else, Amarak could be more viable outside of faction-like situations, like maybe even incorporated into Guild Wars this week. Might need to try that for one of the days here. However, as far as, because it's generally going to have almost 100% devour rate. Whereas, of course, Iron Gut outside of factions, it's like 70-ish, 60-ish. It really depends on your stats. 80-ish with all things added up. But it generally doesn't reach 100% in the current state of the game unless you're like in Underworld or other locations where you're gaining enough attack. Whereas this thing will a lot more consistently be hitting that 100% range. So it'll be interesting to see how this pans out. It also has 50% score reduction, also has burn stun. With the more relevant thing actually being stun, more so than the burn, while it does need burn for its boost ratio. Being able to just stun things out and just not having to deal with their traits, also kind of nice. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this pans out into the future. A couple other ones is Fire Lizard got nerfed, it creates burning gems. No refund for any of these though. This thing does like a little bit extra ratio off of its armor. Lava Elemental got an interesting one. It hits all enemies now, but does slightly less damage. So overall, I would say a buff. Even in Arena is probably still a buff. They did raise its mana cost from 13 to 10. But overall, not too bad. They also gave a lot of things Pyromania, which is 2 times skull damage to burning enemies, which not really too relevant because 3 times. Gog and Good got quite a few buffs, but still pretty relevant troop, even with every single one of the buffs it got. And, well, I guess we don't need a video for it now. We kind of just went over them all. At least most of them. And actually got a pretty interesting one, too. And actually creates skulls now off its thing. It used to gain, like, attack. But now it creates skulls. Overall, not really worth it compared to, like, those Empower Skull creators. But, if you end up destroying 3 purples, it creates 12 skulls. So there's that. But if you're only creating 8 skulls out of it, it's not really worth it compared to other things that can already do skulls at a way better rate. Luther got like a barrier onto his thing. Not too relevant, but hey, it helps newer players if nothing else. Barrier super important early on in the game. Pyrogo just got like a few better ratios, slightly higher gem spawn. And they also added a new trait, though it's not too relevant. This one also just destroys all brown now instead of removing all red. But he added a, where's the rage one? Can I find like anything that has the rage one? Oh yeah, also Traxxas got stone skin, which is pretty cool. But yeah, a lot of things got Pyromania. So now they have like 2 times skull damage. Where's that one? I'm trying to find like any ogre that might have it. But they had like an ogre fury thing where they gain like a little bit of attack when you match red. It's pretty irrelevant, but it's like pretty much a brand new trait. I don't think anything had it prior to this little update thingy where they gave a bunch of things, this like ogre fury to gain a little bit of extra attack whenever they take red. Not really too relevant, but hey, it adds up. Anyways, let's start going into some of these teams. So there we go. There's a whole rundown on most of the Broken Spire Rework. I guess I'll include a link in the description. I pretty much, without even looking at the list, just went over most of them, though, I am pretty sure, as there wasn't that many changes. However, let's go over the most relevant one. So, Amarak. Amarak's actually good now. Like, it is pretty much meta. I still feel like it's slightly worse than Iron Gut in most situations. However, it is basically alternative Iron Gut now. Like, if you have one of these laying around and you don't have Iron Gut, well, you can try Iron Gut now, pretty much. So, as far as how we're going to use this, we want to basically just click on something, and then it dies. And then we do that again, and we keep doing that until we win. It's pretty much the entire game plan here, is just keep spamming that over and over and over again until we just win out the whole thing. With all the ratio that we're going to be getting here, we're going to have a pretty good chance to kill in most situations here. Let's see. So I'm going to go for that. Oh, I just realized. Hold up. Its base devour rate was actually increased to 10%. Its overall devour rate was not actually increased. Oh. Wait, hold up. Never mind. Wait, why'd they make it so weak? No, wait. They raised one value but not the other? Hold up, never mind. Oh, never mind. Ignore this guy. He's so bad. Wait. Well, at least he still has that higher damage. But no, they only gave him a... They only increased the base rate to 10%. They didn't increase his boost ratio to 10. Oh, no. I must have misread that when I looked at it earlier. Well, if nothing else, at least we get more of the rope dart value here. So we can actually get into kill range. But yeah, never mind. It's not as good. That's sad. Never mind. It's not new Iron Gut. It's not new slightly weaker Iron Gut. It's just still a completely inferior useless troop. At least it's somewhat more useful. But honestly, that's pretty much the story of almost every Broken Spire rework that occurred here. They're slightly more useful, but like you're never really going to use them. Like Shagra got one more extra reg spawn. Like what difference is that going to make? I think it also got Paramania if it didn't already have that. No, yeah. Wait, did it? No, I'm pretty sure I already had that. But basically, it got like one extra skull spawn. Like a lot of things in this Broken Spire rework, they got such small tweaks that they're just not going to be worth using. But yeah, I completely misread that. I thought, okay. So yeah, that is really bad still. Because that means realistically, you're going to have, at least this brings you up to like a more consistent 50-ish% devour rate. But, oh no, compared to 100%, why would you ever run 50%? So yeah, it's just not worth it, unfortunately. It is definitely more worth it than it was before, but very, very marginally in the slightly more worth it. So yeah, Amarok's not going to be worth it then. Unfortunate. However, one thing that is going to be worth it, do you not have Mother of Darkness? Well, welcome, new Rogue Spider team. Now, without any mythics. So, as far as this team is concerned, basically, we have ourselves an alternative Mother of Darkness team. So, essentially what we do here is we gain magic to all rogue allies when matching 4 or more gems. On top of this, we also gain magic when doing the same thing. So we're gaining 3 magic every extra turn we take. Well, guess what basically has infinite extra turns? Oh, and we already missed. How could you do such a thing? But essentially, what we could do here is something actually very similar to what we were doing with one of those other teams earlier, which is but just rope dart each one of these once, and then we cast the big finisher. I should actually went for that one first. Let me see. Go for that. Go for a little bit of mana. Boom, boom, boom. But basically, you hit everything with a rope dart. You throw down this ability. They will all die. And that's pretty much all you have to do. Let's actually start that from the top without having to explain as much. But yeah, essentially, we want to get our mana flowing. Easiest way to do this is... also, these battle crashers are around. I was going to be going over that in a moment, but of course, make sure to get your 10 crowns every single day. We do have a team going over how to farm those directly. However, there he is. There's one of them. And you can get 10 of those per day. Definitely make sure to do so to get the Kingdom Pass completed. So right here, we basically just want to get Rogue Spider rolling, and once we do, we won. And we won. It's over. Alright, so he'll set up the board to make it even better for us. Sure, why not? I don't see why not. So now we just rope dart everything once, and then we just throw down the heavy splash, and that should hopefully kill out the entire battle. Take a skull here, just make sure the heavy splash hits a little bit more conveniently as well. Make sure they're all right next to each other. Boom, dead. And oh no, it slightly lived. Well, luckily we have a solution to that. Click the final little button here, and now it's dead. Yeah, that's pretty much the whole gimmick with the team. It's not quite the same as Mother of Darkness, but if you wanted to try a Mother of Darkness team but don't have Mother of Darkness, there you go. There's a non-mythic version of it that is now doable due to Captain Saltclaw. So, not too bad. As far as which one's better, I'd probably still say the Mother of Darkness one's still slightly better, but it's a nice alternative, and still really solid team nonetheless. So, speaking of crown farming, we have crown farming options. So, of course, with the, we just saw one of them right over there. So, basically, whenever you're an explorer, the best location to end up farming them, you want to do low-level explore and basically make sure you get 10 crowns every single day. These 10 crowns will progress you through the Kingdom Pass over the next 35 days, the next 5 weeks, and you'll be able to go and get all the rewards here, either all on the free side, or if you bought the 8-hour pass, all on the paid side as well. I generally would not advise paying for tiers, though if you find you're a little bit short at the end, you can throw down a couple hundred gems to kind of close the gap. Otherwise, I advise just getting to 10 crowns every single day. So, of course, you can just do so by just doing Explore 12, kind of like what we were just doing, just standard Explore 12. However, you can also go to a very easy-to-kill kingdom like City Mirage and simply kill out things here. So in this case, we're going to go with these two teams. First, we have ourselves a Ironhawk one, and one that is way more accessible if you don't have access to the Ironhawk one. So here you can do one of either two teams, just Dust Devil with triple Ironhawk, or in this case, if you don't have triple, you can end up running with this. And of course, the main thing that we're trying to find when doing this are the Pyromesis. And this guy will end up giving you a crown. You can get 10 of these per day. Keep in mind, the very last crown tends to be a lot harder to get than the other 9. You can actually take more time on getting the 9th one alone. On the 10th one alone than the other 9 combined. And you just run teams like this. Another alternative is a much cheaper team, just, pretty standard Rowan build. Slightly different than the other one we showed earlier, but still wanted to show it in case other people don't have Ironhawk or other similar options. Really accessible. You just get Leprechaun from chess. Rowan for free from completing out Forest of Thorns. Black Manacle for free just from leveling up some. You'll have it by level 100, 200 or so. And Mirage Queen you get from Chaos Shards and Sunken Fleet. And basically just hit Leprechaun, get your mana up, throw down Rowan. You can do this with any hero class you want, so if you're looking for class XP to get any specific class leveled, you can also end up doing so. And it's as simple as that, as far as getting them all done. And now, lastly here, let's go do a Megavore. And I guess we'll go back to Sword's Edge. I'm not sure why I always like clicking on Sword's Edge. There's a lot of kingdoms that are easy to take. I just have a habit of doing Sword's Edge as of recently. However, let's go and get our mana going. So, I should take the yellow first. Actually, you know what? I'm pretty sure I'll be casting a Leprechaun first. So that's one of the reasons why it's here. But throw out Leprechaun. So, of course, Megavore, main gimmick. It is available in the event drop table this week. And its main gimmick is that it's 4 times tier all armor on the opposing team. It is currently the only thing in the entire game that could do that. Next closest thing is a mana loop on Rope Dart, kind of like with Rogue Spider, where you can individually do it one at a time. However, that's still doing it one at a time rather than everything at once. So basically, you just go throw that down, you get the armor tear down, you throw a few AoEs, and you basically just win. It's as easy as that. The Megavore gets all their armor out of the way, and you just truffle or something similar and just AoE spam them down until the entire team is finished. A couple different ways you could do this. This happens to be one of the variants, and you could try incorporating hero and other things. You will have to give up some mana accumulation for it, but this team already has enough mana accumulation that you can kind of spare a little bit and still be fine. I'm actually going to take a preemptive purple here, just to make sure we have a out option, just to get that little bit of extra mana accumulation there, as we might end up needing it when we end up missing, like right here. I already saw that coming a mile away, so I kind of just did that preemptively. This thing also has an 8% chance to insta-kill the Megavore, that is, every time we take an extra turn off the board. While many fights similar to this one, you will probably not get it a single time. It is possible that you might end up getting it randomly, which of course is a nice little free little kill that will help progress you through the fight there. And we'll go for a little bit of mana one last time, truffle it down. That one didn't go as smoothly, but, same premise. Megavore down, or basically get your mana accumulators going. Throw down Megavore to get rid of their armor. Throw a truffle down or some similar option that can kill everything very quickly. And just kill them out until you win. And as simple as that. Man, anyways, guys, that's a rundown on everything. Yeah, sorry about the one mythic. I definitely misread that when I was looking at it earlier. When I was skimming through all of them. But yeah, it looks like they just increased the base value, not the boost ratio, which is kind of sad. I would have, even if this was 100% every single time Devour, this is still worse than Iron Gut. And now it's even worse than that because it's still averaging 50-something%. It's on average going to be 8% higher than its Devour rate before. But 8%, not a huge amount when that percent is still so far away from 100%. If that 8% was on something like an 80%, if it was normally hitting 80% and then moved to 88, that's a huge difference. But 8% when it's already just kind of averaging around the mid 50%-ish area, not that big of a benefit. Honestly, most of the Broken Spire reworks, not that big of a change. Lava Troll, or sorry, Fire Lizard got nerfed, basically. Lava Elemental got buffed, particularly for, this thing in Arena now, it was already a menace in Arena. Now it's just you click its button, you auto-win. Because it's 4 times Bird. It's 4 times Bird. It's basically this better version of that one epic you get, and it's an ultra rare. Like that Atlanta yellow-purple you get from Divinian Fields. It's basically just a superior version of that now. And you get it from an ultra draft in Arena. But yeah, it's pretty insane. But Shagrar got mini buff. Taraxis got mini buff. They all just kind of got mini buff. This thing got like stone skin. This thing got extra spawn. It's just not enough to change the needle. And same as Amarak, it got a little mini buff. It's just not enough to justify using them. Like pretty much every single thing that got buffed, your amount of usage of them is pretty much unchanged from their buff compared to before the buff. Like if you'd even know what Ogress did, or I mean Goggen Good did prior to this, and you look at his ability, you'd probably still think he's useless. Like it didn't really change much. It just made it like slightly better, but slightly better doesn't do much for its overall viability. Amarak's the same, Sugar is the same. Pretty much everything that got touched here is the same. Where, you know, if you happen to be using them, you'll get a bit more value from them, but they're just not good enough to bother bringing out. Things that were already not that good, still just not that good. Everything that was already beyond belief good is still beyond belief good, especially with that little pet giving it a better bonus. So it's pretty much unchanged from those buffs. Anyways, guys, all 12 teams mentioned in this video will be in the description below if you want to go and copy-paste any of them. And at this point, since I kind of already went over this for the most part, a link to all the Broken Spire changes will also be in the description. I pretty much went over a good majority of them during this video. So there we go. We don't need to cover a different video for it. However, the full list will be in the description, as I believe there might be like a few small ones here and there that I didn't really mention, but they're pretty minuscule, and most of them similar to the Amarak one as all the others. Just isn't really enough to like it allows you to use them a bit more, but just not enough to make them like used a lot. That's for sure. But anyways, guys, catch you later. Thank you so much for watching, and have a wonderful week. Bye, everyone.